Hello, what's up guys? Welcome back to another standard video here with me, Arne Schmidt. We are playing Overlord Smuggler Surprise, Timur Ramp-ish control deck. It's really a concoction of multiple strategies, things, cards that we haven't seen in a bit. And where did I take this from? Shahar Shenra, two-time world champion. I think it was 2013 and 2015, something like that era. Has come back to Magic and has been streaming a lot of Standard recently. And yeah, I hopped into his stream and checked it out a little bit. He has this untapped profile linked to it, of course. And then there I was able to make out the deck he was playing the last few days. And he has a 78% win rate over 64 matches, which is quite a sample size with this particular deck. And you know, the Arena Standard Qualifier is this weekend coming up. And yeah, we certainly want to find the best deck for that event and explore the potential avenues. And yeah, Shahar brewed this one up and has been having a lot of success with. So I thought, you know, I want to give it a shot. Overlords are arguably some of the most powerful cards in Standard, you know, even without Beanstalk around, period. The flexibility, the, you know, suspending the impending part where you just get that gigantic creature down the line, well, you make that relatively cheap investment and you get something immediately for that impending cost is a bit of a way of cheating in terms of mana, right? Sure, a delay of time, but you know, we see with Overlord of the Mistmoors, Overlord of the Hauntwoods, and even with the other Overlords. I mean, the Black Overlord is a modern all-star in various modern decks. So we see it in Black-Green Roots, in Graveyard Reliant deck, Graveyard Reanimated decks. These Overlords are just intrinsically very powerful. So finding ways without Beanstalk to abuse them, finding ways to abuse Overlord of the Hauntwoods is certainly nice. And here with Smuggler Surprise, there is a way to abuse them, right? Because they give you relatively cheap plays, but then with Smuggler Surprise, you also get the upside of, hey, if the game goes long, boom, I can put two gigantic creatures into play, and the Overlord doubles as a cheaper play, but also as a gigantic creature I can find with the mill 4 cards effect of the Smuggler Surprise, and then also put into play, and is also a thing I can protect with that last abilities, giving Hexproof and Indestructible, which is especially nice against Day of Judgment and Ultima that rely on destruction. Sunfall sees a little bit less play nowadays, I would think, because Ultima is kind of a little bit better in a few decks. Maybe not in mono-white tokens. There you would still see Sunfall. But yeah, I mean, looking at the stack, especially with the 3 steps ahead also in here, another spree rare. Yeah, a lot of module cards, you could say. Like the Overlords are module, right? They have a 3-mana mode and a 5-mana mode, a 4-mana mode and a 6-mana mode. Here also a Marang, a 4-mana mode to make it a little cheaper, but also big, gigantic creatures that stabilizes you. And then the spree spells, also modular spells that have various mana cost, whatever situation you're in. So a lot of flexibility that makes the early game not too bad, while also having a lot of late game power in this archetype here. Additionally, to the Overlord of the Hauntwoods, we have this Bloomvine Regent, which just fetches up 2 forests in the early game, ramps a little bit, and later on as a big flyer that gains some life. To accompany that, we have some early game removal, Dragonfire here, and Torture Tower. Scorching Dragonfire, certainly a nod towards Enduring Curiosity. I mean, this is a card we haven't seen in a while in Standard, but now that Enduring Curiosity is everywhere, of course, we see Dragonfire, and then, you know, good of Shahar to adopt that one. And then Llanowar Elves. You know, a little bit of unfairness. Cheating on mana very early in the game is certainly a little bit unfair. Not to say that this isn't a vulnerable card that can just be killed, but it puts your opponent in a little bit of an awkward situation, similar to how, you know, the 4 Deep Cavern Bats in a Demon's deck that otherwise only has big creatures makes your opponent wonder twice, hey, should I keep in my Torture Tower? Should I keep in my Shock? Should I keep in my Cut Down? Against this deck where it's going to be dead and bad a lot of the times, but they do have those Llanowar Elf starts that are very threatening. I do want to interact with those, so it's a tricky situation for your opponent to handle. And hey, you could also always board out the Llanowar Elf if you expect your opponent to bring in a removal, and then yeah, have that alternative as well. Stock up to fix your draws, and then we have some more fatties here. 2 Vaultborn Tyrant, one of the most powerful creatures to put into play, especially good with more power 4 or greater creatures. Vaultborn Tyrant has been a mainstay in the red-green Smuggler Surprise decks that we've seen in the past. Yeah, and then we have 1 copy of Ureni, the Song Unending, protection from white, protection from black. Pretty powerful thing, especially powerful if you flash it into play, wipe the opponent's board. You have a 10-10. You get to attack for 10 maybe right away. Playing around a sweeper with the flash ability of Smuggler Surprise. Really nice. One last thing to note here about the spells in the main deck. That second part on 3 steps ahead, create a token as a comp with target artifact creature in control. Very, very good with all these non-legendary power plays here that have enter the battlefield triggers. So that part of 3 steps ahead is amazing in this deck. Yeah, I mean, I could see that this has enough early game to sort of stem the bleeding from a good Dimir start, and then has just the power of going over the top of literally anyone, really. And with Heartfire Hero, Monsters Rage out of the format, decks like these are able to breathe again, are able to be played again. Or similar to that, something like the Analyst archetype, Teemo Analyst, or even Black-Green Analyst, that really wasn't possible to be played because the early game was too weak against the red creatures and Monsters Rage. Now might have a shot at actually doing something in the format. I did have the opinion that those decks are still tricky to justify, as Dimir is very good against these over-the-top type of strategies. As it plays cheap counterspells, cheap threats. Kaito is very annoying to deal with. But not to say that there are potentially leaks you can, or there are ways to build these decks, these over-the-top decks that address, the Dimir mid-range archetype, and then are able to play against it or even be favored against it. Cavern of Souls also plays a big part in that, same as Mistrise Village, just negating the counter magic of Dimir, pretty huge. Mistrise Village especially nice in a Teemo deck, as Mountain and Forest is required for it to be untapped, and that's certainly the case in a Teemo deck more than like Jeskai that used to play one of these, or Omniscience, where it essentially was a tapped island. Yeah. All right, the sideboard, we're looking at 2 Ghost Vacuum, 2 Negate, 3 copies of Heritage Reclamation, an all-star even in the previous standard format, a reason to play green. We saw Team Channel Fireball end up on 3 copies of Heritage Reclamation in their domain ramp sideboard because it was such an excellent tool against Omniscience. And, the card has just a lot of text and a lot of applicability in various matchups. Fire Magic, a really nice sideboard card against Dimir midrange. 1 mana, kill a lot of their 1 toughness flyers. Fresh Start, good against stuff like Screaming Nemesis. Make Your Own Luck, just another nice card advantage spell that makes plots one of your expensive cards and makes it be cast for free, so you cheat on mana a little bit. We have 1 copy of Calamity, Galloping Inferno. That's the card that we saw a lot in the red-green Smuggler Surprise deck in the past. It just sort of speeds things up. I guess you would cite this in a matchup where you want to be a little bit faster, maybe against the reanimated deck or against like a type of combo deck where you need that quick kill with Calamity. You can saddle it with another big creature and then get 2 copies of that big creature and the ETB effects, especially powerful with Overlord of the Boilerbilges, resulting in, if you copy Overlord of the Boilerbilges twice, it's a lot of damage coming at the opponent. 1 copy of Dragonback Assault, a nice, powerful, grindy tool. Yeah, I mean, not much to say there. You can't sneak it in with Smuggler Surprise, but just a very, very powerful effect to ramp out. And then a 2nd copy of Ureni for the matchups where, I guess, protection from white, protection from black is very important, where the games go a little bit longer. Maybe something like mono white control. Yeah. All right, well, this is certainly a sweet deck. It looks very tuned. The sideboard looks very solid. 1 concern I would have maybe is that I would like to see a little bit more in the terms of early game red removal here in the sideboard. That's just an instant concern that is rising for me. Maybe unjustified, just a sort of intuitive thought that comes up where, you know, 3 Torch and 2 Scorch are nice, but you could play a little bit more of this. You could play another Torch in the sideboard, another Dragonfire in the sideboard, or even Obliterating Bolt maybe for Breach of the Schism. I guess Fresh Start is sort of taking that role here. Yeah, anyhow, I'm excited about this. This is a very outside-the-box deck, and yeah, pretty cool, definitely. And yeah, let's jump into it. Okay. Bit of a clunker. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. I don't have any play before turn 3. I don't like that. Okay, I can work with this, I guess. Very controlling hand. I'm on the draw, unfortunately, so if my opponent has a fast start, I'm going to be in trouble. Smuggler Surprise, a bunch of card advantage. It feels weird to do this, but I feel like the instant speed cards here compared to Stock Up fit the 3 steps ahead a little bit better, in my view. So this card seems kind of decent, but it's also very redundant with what I have. Plains Elegant Parlor twice, okay. If the format is as slow as this, people just playing tap lands. What does this even mean? Could this mean Jeskai? I'm gonna just keep the stock up at this point. My opponent really hasn't shown me that they want to finish the game very quickly. So I think I am able to... Oh, okay, it's a Yuna deck, sure. Alright. Very popular these days, I guess. I could torch it, but that really doesn't interfere with my mana setup here. Well, I will counter that, I think. And then I will stock up plus torch the summon, so the Yuna is just not threatening. This stops them from discarding things. It's also a 4/5. Yeah. I put anything to the bottom, a stock up. I could shuffle. I'm just gonna play Forest. I'm gonna do this. They seem to have mana up for something. Definitely take that. I have a 5th land right now. So it's definitely not the elf. It's a land or Vaultborn, I guess. Probably just take the power play at this point. You know, 6th land is certainly appealing, but this also finds lands for what it's worth. I mean, I don't know. I could see that this was a bit greedy to take. Maybe I'm supposed to just sort of try to enable my own game plan, be a little reactive, and hold up mana and not put a 7-drop into my hand. Alright, that's fine. I'm a little bit worried about the early game of this deck. Like, 3 Torch, 2 Scorch is a little bit low. You do have the Overlord, the 4-mana Overlord to deal 4, but that's pretty slow at 4 mana. Dealing 4 damage is not a great ratio. But yeah, I mean, taking the Vaultborn, I suppose, does set me up to combo with the surprise at some point. Like next turn. What I can do at instant speed next turn is I can put 2 Vaultborns into play. Yeah, that's pretty good. That is pretty powerful. It gives us a little bit of a Temur Reclamation vibe almost. It's sort of like this instant speed Temur control deck that has instant speed power plays. Interesting. I mean, I go to 11. I think this is fine, and what I'm gonna do is pretty ridiculous, honestly. I'm a fan already. Like, this matchup has got to be great, right? I have a bunch of interaction for their power plays, and they don't have for mine. I'm gonna put these 2 into play, I think, and just bounce both my opponent's creatures. Gain a bunch of life. Draw a bunch of cards. That's pretty insane. Like, the Vaultborn Tyrant is nuts with Smuggler Surprise. And there's a reason these decks used to play it. And now we have 3 steps and we can copy the Vaultborn Tyrant. This is just absolutely insane. I see the vision. I see the vision. You just have to get there. You have to survive until that. That one's fine. That one I don't care too much about. Discard Summon Bahamut. Okay, well. And then passing the turn? No. Counter, copy. Copy that. That should do the trick. Yeah. Okay, Yuna. Alright. Okay, Heritage Reclamation seems pretty nice. So does Ghost Vacuum. The early game removal, I didn't see an elf from them. Not an elf. We see Fear and Summon. Torch seems kind of medium. My Llanowar Elves seems good here, as their deck doesn't have damage removal usually. Ureni. Well, I can certainly blow up Ureni with that. Things have ward. Yeah, I don't think I need the Ureni here, to be honest. And I'm gonna cut a Bloomvine and add the Ghost Vacuums. Negate is not great here. Disdainful Stroke would be pretty nice to have, not gonna lie. I guess this is a matchup where it could bring in a Calamity to sort of insta-win against them. They do probably have a number of like Get Losts in their sideboard or main deck. Destroy Evil. They could have Heritage Reclamation too. So they can intervene with my Calamity. I don't really know if I need it either. I'm a little skeptical on the stock up. I mean, why are we playing free stock up, free surprise? Surprise seems so bonkers in this deck. Wouldn't you want to have 4? And couldn't this be Overlord of the blue Overlord, theoretically? To synergize even more with the deck? I guess that would make the mana too tough, but you're already playing 3 steps ahead, which is a blue card on turn 3. So, right? Like, they're just thoughts that come to mind. I mean, I haven't played nearly enough games as Shahar. But you do wonder about that. Esper Origins. I've played against so many Esper Origins recently, I feel like. It's really a popular card. It is not bad, I guess. It's not a bad one. Cavern of Souls. Yeah, it's a little annoying. Be gone. Let's ramp. Everywhere. Token. We had like something like a Farseek. That would be welcome. Very welcome for this deck. I mean, I realistically can't really tap out next turn. Probably. Okay, I mean, they just seem to have mana issues here, but they are able to cast Yuna, as Yuna is a human, and they have green and white. I think I will just do this and set up more land drops. Ghost Vacuum's interesting too. Probably just take the island. Cavern doesn't really matter here. Maybe just take the Smuggler Surprise to get my own stuff going. Yeah. And then just pass the turn. If they go for an Esper Origins, it's not too threatening. More worried about Yuna. Okay, sure. I mean, the unit target they have right now is pretty whatever. It's a fear. I guess they can with this. Well, yeah. But I think what I'm gonna do here, I think I'm just gonna put 2 overloads into play and kill these 2. Just take another 4. Could also Dragonfire this. And then do something else with my overlords. Shoot the face. Sure. I don't think the Dragonfire has much use. Okay. So they have the ability to cast Una, but it just gets this fear back. So it's not very threatening. That Una is just a joke compared to what I'm able to do here, to be honest. I'm just gonna do the most damage here. These overlords are a huge problem. They have to be dealt with. If they go for Una, it's just... it's child's play compared to what I'm doing here. And if they don't have the answers for these, the Marang will stop their blockers even further and they will just die pretty quickly. Not only do I have great interaction for their game plan and heritage and counterspells, I also just have the better game plan and they don't have interaction for my game plan. So this, kudos to Shahar. I mean, this seems very solid so far, at least in this matchup. But I also think that this Una deck is questionable in terms of how powerful it actually is and how much... I feel like it sees more play than it should, potentially. It's sort of the vibe I'm getting. I could play another big guy, just for the heck of it, but now they have an Overlord here, so I probably should be a little bit more patient. I also have this Overlord myself. I think I'm just gonna use you to draw some cards. Maybe I'll find a land and a counterspell. There you go. Let me just discard the elf, actually. So now we have 2 Overlords, a counterspell. I mean, they have the Cavern, but if they go for Una, we have Heritage. And we have exactly 11 power, plus the Overlord trigger, so 15 damage. As I said in the introduction, I mean, if you give this deck time, it will probably make short order of you. This is 4 damage to my face, okay. What the heck? Alright. I guess they're just trying to kill one of these guys. Alright. I could make a token of my guy, but I'm not gonna waste any more time here. Yeah. Alright, well. Both Overlord decks, both abusing the power of the Duskmourn Mythic cycle, but I would say that I did not only prove it with this clean 2-0, but also conceptually, I think I'm playing the more powerful deck in the matchup for sure. And just a better deck. Point blank. All right. Okay. Interesting. What am I playing? Am I playing Timur? What is this? Blue-red control? Huh. Very weird. I mean, I have a lot of draws that are not great. I guess it sort of has the Jeska control problem of just bad mana. Recolor decks, bad mana. This is a pretty good hand mana-wise. I'm thinking, I don't even know about this Vaultborn Tyrant, but I mean, I want to draw. I think it's reasonable to go both ways. Either keep the forest, sure, or keep the Tyrant. I think it's reasonable, but the Tyrant is also there to combo at some point with Smuggler Surprise, so it's a combo piece. So I kind of do want to have it. Interesting. I think I should look for... I don't know what I'm up against exactly, but turn 1 Cecil is certainly aggressive. And 3 steps ahead is not the card I'm looking for right now if I want to speed the game up. This is the type this is the type of card I'm looking for if I want to speed things up. I could try to kill the Zagfair here. It might interfere with their turn 3 play. Because either they crack it to give a counter, or they don't, then they play their free drop. But if they crack it, that means they don't get to play that free drop, right? Okay, Max punished. Classic. Alright. Classic. Maximum punishment. They play the exact same card that's legendary. Oh well. I think I made a pretty good call there, and yeah, just Magic the Gathering sometimes does not, you know, reward you for making, in my opinion, a decent call. All right, I'm at 10, and this Cecil flips into a, what, 5/5? 6/6, jeez. It's pretty big. I'm at 10. All right, well. Two draw, yeah, well. Overlord and a Dragonfire would do the trick, I guess. To kill the Cecil next turn. Well, no. No, it doesn't. I mean, I have Zagfair I have to worry about as well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could have taken the Dragonfire and not the mountain there, and hope to draw an untapped land with my next draw step, and then go 4 damage, 3 damage. Yeah. That was a pretty good Cecil. Okay. I would have died to this anyways. I could jump block here. They have 3 cards in hand. So I can impend this and kill the bat. Yeah, turn 1 Cecil on the play. I mean, I was talking in the introduction that, you know, if people don't put pressure on you, you're okay. But turn 1 Cecil is certainly pressure. Makes me feel less okay. Okay. I don't even know what I need to draw at this point. I mean, the Vaultborn... I go to 2. Vaultborn gains me some life. I do gain a blocker here with this Overlord. Oh. Well, that might help. So I can bounce Skitter and Cecil. I have 2 blockers for the 2 attackers. They don't seem to have a removal spell, otherwise my elf would have died and I would have died. So I don't have to play around the removal. I mean, I shouldn't. There's a way I can play around removal as well by bouncing these 2. Then they don't even have lethal if they kill a creature of mine. Oh, well, they have lethal if they have Collector's Cage on this as well. Yeah, I think it's Skitter and Cecil. Sure. Okay. Clawing myself back into it. Ureni is... I mean, I'm playing as a black-white deck. Ureni is going to be nice, I guess. But it's also a black-white aggressive deck, so Ureni is an 8-drop. A little expensive. There's no way I could have really played around the Collector's Cage, as this Lord Skitter also allows them, like, whatever I bounce, there's no way I play around that. Yeah, that's a lot of attackers. Maybe I was meant to bounce the Sanguine. I don't know. I mean, if I bounce the Sanguine, I kind of look at the same situation, to be honest. I think I'm a pretty dead guy here. I can go up to 5, but they have, well, I guess. Yeah, no, I mean, they have Plenty. Each creature gets 2/0. There's no workaround. I'm just dead. Yeah. Maybe they don't attack. Black-white aggro tokens. They do attack. Okay, fire magic will come in. All right. Okay. When you board out fire magic, maybe you don't want the elf in your deck. And when you board in fire magic, you don't want the elf in your deck. I like the Dragonback Assault here, kinda, as the sweeper part is pretty good. Ureni is obviously strong, but also expensive. Fresh start. I mean, it's fine. It's not great against Collector's Cage, I guess. Collector's Cage makes me think they have like Elspeth and maybe the White Overlord in the deck too. Yeah. I don't know. Ureni is like the obvious inclusion, but it's pretty expensive. This might not be a matchup where I necessarily want the free steps ahead either. It doesn't seem necessary all that much, or like stock up. Just want to be fast and kill them, so I kind of want the elf. Maybe I do want the elf on the play and ignore the anti-synergy. Could have cut the Vaultborn Tyrant for an Ureni, I guess. I feel like as long as I get to the late game, it doesn't really matter too much which of the fatties I get into play. I just need to get to that part. This gets me land, so I can go elf into surprise turn 3. I guess I could have put this on Avatar, and then I could have cast this turn 4. Yeah, maybe that was a little loose, actually. Shouldn't have played the Village, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I think I punted this game already. Played a little fast. I should have put this on Avatar so I can potentially cast the Overlord. Didn't matter, I guess, until yet. Okay, wow. Well, now I should do it. Let's not repeat the same mistake. Need to do it now because the voice shuts it off. Jesus Christ. Where's my red mana? I guess it's just one of these two, I guess. All right, take 5. Sephiroth might okay annex. Okay, thinking Sephiroth might makes sense in a deck. Tough beats so far. I guess I'm hard casting an Overlord here. The mana situation is just atrocious. I might get back into the game though. I mean, I have the ramp. The elf certainly is the reason why I'm in the game, even though I'm in such a bad mana situation. Yeah, sure. I'll take it. They're already at 12 for what it's worth. Like, my fatties turn the corner pretty quickly. And I can play a Marang to stabilize a bit. They have to block, otherwise I can Overload burn them. This is actually interesting. I could actually do something here. I could kill with Torch one of these and then bounce the other two, hit them down to 4. Then they can make a demon. This seems pretty good to me, honestly. Even if they make a demon, they go up to 6. Then I don't have a clean kill, but I have the Marang in play, which makes them have to jump block for the demon. So they need a... Yeah, that's a pretty good position, isn't it? The other options are like Overlord something, I guess. Yeah, putting them to 4 is just very threatening. This is sort of the downside of Cecil, I guess. And Annex. I mean, Annex dealt them 4, Cecil dealt them 6. Took 10 damage of their own cards. Okay. You go down to 2. Sure. Opponent's playing very fast. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, you're just dead. The Cecil attack definitely killed them. I mean, they were dead to this anyways, I guess. Because I could have just shot the Cecil and then attacked both my 6-power guys if they had 6 life. Alright, cool. Well, that went kind of according to plan, I guess. My Llanowar Elves start accomplished me being fast enough. And them having Annex also makes this fire magic in itself look a little weaker. Heritage Reclamation looks better and better. It's also a weird effect. I mean, I'm not really... Like, Annex is not a very good card against me, to be honest. It's a slow, grindy card. Well, yeah, it is. And that's not very good against my deck. This is not a grinding, but this is a race. They have to kill me. So Heritage Reclamation, while it messes with that, it's not really an effect that I worry about too much. It does make me wonder about some of my cards, though. I don't know. The 6/6 is kind of annoying. The 6/6 demon part. I guess I have 4 Marangs. Never mind. Not that annoying. I'm gonna cut the Dragonback Assault and add the Ureni. I really would like to have 4 surprises. I feel like that maximizes some of these cards. Playing 4 of this card. I mean, as you all know, I'm a stand for stock up. But you know, I don't know. It's just like the synergies here are too apparent and too powerful. At that point, stock up isn't that desirable anymore. As you see, like Omniscience, for example, the late Omniscience lists in the previous format didn't even play stock up, or like 1 or 2 maybe, and they went for Overlord of the Flood Pits, the blue Overlord, because it synergized more with Score Shift than the rest of the deck. It's always contextual. This hand's pretty bad. Don't really have a great plan. I have Bloomvine, which ramps me to 5, but I have no 5. I feel like this is maybe the biggest downside of this deck. Sort of these type of hands that don't do much. I'm gonna keep this one. It's pretty terrible, but it has the outs of being good. If I like don't draw an 8-drop. If I draw like a 1 land, this land can fix me the other color, and then maybe I can get him with fire magic. These 3 toughness creatures are very annoying into torches. Like, this is what I meant earlier in the video when I was like, hey, maybe this deck should play a couple more, you know, Obliterating Bolt, Scorching Dragonfire, that type of thing, to be able to have a little bit more good early game removal, which early game, turn 1 and 2 are sort of the biggest weak spots of this deck. Now I kept the risky 6. I didn't get there. I didn't draw a land in the first 2, so I'm kind of screwed. This one's kind of on me. But going to 5 is pretty bad too, so I don't know. Like, this was just a judgment call. going to 5. I could have done that, but I would have maybe lost as well. You know, the odds of me winning at 5 on the draw against this deck are very low. So I'd rather take my chances with a hand that has some decent plays. If I draw a red land right away, I have moves. Didn't work out. And this is, I guess, sort of the nightmare situation for this type of deck. Just being overrun in the early game. This is how you lose with this deck. Not making your land drops, not having mana as well, of course, but also just aggression. Voice of Victory is certainly a very aggressive card. And a very strong 2-drop, so I'm sure we're going to see more of it in the future. Again on the draw. But yeah, I mean, this hand's pretty awesome. You get hands, you get these 5 landers that look shit, and then you mulligan to 6 and you have a Fabled Passage as your only land. Honestly, I'm also questioning the Fabled Passage. Does it need to be in there? Like, maybe you can overhaul the mana base a little bit. And improve that situation. Fabled Passage is a really, really bad land. And there's reasons why I didn't run it in Jeskai. And I don't, out of my head, understand the reasons why I should run it in this deck if I found out that it's bad in Jeskai. Both decks are somewhat similar. You could say that this deck has even harsher mana requirements than Jeskai, and that warrants the addition of a tricolor land, as Fable is. But then you could also argue maybe in favor of Frontier Bivouac, potentially. Or Starting Town. I don't know. Fabled Passage is a rough one. Okay. Interesting deck. Sort of like a blue-white tempo deck. I don't have the mana to counter anything. So I should probably just do this, but I also kind of want to put these 2 into play next turn with this. I think that's kind of where I should be. That might lead me to just pass the turn, I guess. I really have found this card to be the utmost powerful. And I don't understand why he's not playing 4 of them. Especially in fast matchups, it seems pretty important to have this on turn 6. It's a pretty hefty mana investment to make here. I don't love that play. I mean, maybe the hand is empty. Take 8. Sure. Yeah, my opponent doesn't know what's coming for them. Now I even have options here. Double Vaultborn. I want to do it now so they don't have to, like, spell pierce shenanigans or whatever. But I think I should just be reasonable and do this. Interact a little bit with them. Don't let this cloud get out of hand here. I would have drawn a lot of cards with this Vaultborn, but it's a little overkill. And there we go. A board position that looked, probably from my opponent's side, pretty reasonable. They felt good about the game. Boom, 1 Smuggler surprise, 2 big fatties, GG. Marang River Region is also really sweet, I have to say. Exile my guy, alright. And then it becomes a copy? Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, we'll take that one. Okay, sure. It's pretty good. So this is forever a copy of that now. Not bad. Not bad. Can't do anything about that. I can try to kill it, I guess. But then they can just move the equipment to this and then it becomes a 7/7. That's not great. So I guess I should try to race it. Should just play another Vaultborn. Realistically. Yeah. And just kill the Otter with the Overlord here. Take 7 from this. I do have 2 blockers as well if I wanted to go for a double. I don't know if I want to do that. My hand is pretty loaded. I guess I could. Yeah. Okay. That's not that great of a use. That's not that great of a turn. I'm just gonna take 8. Right? Okay, yeah. No, I'm gonna take 9. I mean, they're just dead straight up. If they stay back, they're dead. If they attack, they're dead. Right? I just attack. Lethal on board. Go to 9. Block my biggest, take, what, 12? That way more damage coming if I wanted to. I really like the structure of this deck, but I think there's some improvements you could make. I do not want to disrespect Shahar. I think he built a really nice deck here, and a lot of things are nice. I do wonder a little bit about some of the structural things. Like, for example, what you could also do, you could go 4 Cavern and then just play all 12 Overlords, maybe. Cut these Stalk-ups, play 4 Smugglers, and play the blue Overlord as well. Play 4 Caverns. Go that route, maybe. Cut the Bloomvine, I think. I think this card's just too weak in the archetype. And then you can cut some of these forests. These forests are, I mean, they're justified by the elf, I guess. I don't know. I haven't really thought about this deeply. I'm just throwing out sort of like brainstorming on the fly here, but you know, there's certainly things you can do. I do like this whole idea, and the Marang is just incredibly sweet as well in this deck. I play a little bit more early game removal. I could also see not playing elf and playing more early game removal. I mean, look at the main. Domain Ramp is a deck that could justify running this card, but it never did. To be fair, Domain Ramp also had cards like Temporary Lockdown and whatnot. And you know, this is a different universe now, different format, but you don't need to run the elf. You could just run a bunch of early game removal to buy time. Theoretically. I don't know. It's tricky. Elf definitely has its advantages. Like in this matchup, I think I do want the elf. Okay, I think 3 steps there is a little slow. Ureni, maybe not needed. Bloomvine is one of the weaker cards. Stock up, not that great. I'm just gonna throw out a bunch of cards. I'm gonna add them back in as well. I'm gonna have 3 Heritage. The Dragonback is okay. The Fire Magic's probably decent, actually. Yeah, Fire Magic seems kind of decent here. It's just annoying. That's such a non-bow of the elf. And then I'll probably add Stock up back in, and if I had 4 Smuggler Surprise, I would feel happier just playing like this. I don't know. But yeah, maybe Shahar sees this, and maybe he feels inspired by some of my suggestions. Okay. Interesting hand. I'm on the draw. I have really nice early game interaction, so I have a lot of time saving. I have an elf. I don't have blue, but I have sort of pseudo blue. If I draw a red, I get blue, or like a mountain. And if I draw Overlord, it's going to be a great hand. So I like a lot of the things this hand. There's a lot of upside to this hand, let's say. And this card is outrageous. We have never even come to the part where, you know, it has this death trigger where it just comes into play again. No big deal. I'm not really sure. Did it have some flash creature? I'm not going to attack. I don't know. I really don't know what I'm up against. The 1 damage is not going to change it, but losing... Well, now I might attack. I didn't want to lose my guy against like Resolute Reinforcements. That would be pretty embarrassing. It's unlikely to have that card, but I don't think the 1 damage matters. Likely will not matter. What matters is that I have these elves around to cast my fatties a turn earlier. Yeah, stocking up, you know, I mean, it's a good magic card, but prolonging the game here, I don't know if you want to be there. Here, I think I'm just going to get lands with this. I'm going to tap an elf. I know that if I would draw naturally an untapped land off the top, this could be pretty bonkers. actually. I'm gonna pass. I want to hold up the 2 mana spell. Could be bonkers, yada yada yada. I could put these 2 next turn into play, but it's just a big if, and I don't like that if. And here, like, traditional ramp decks would be a little bit annoyed if your opponent passes mono magic up, like they obviously do here. But now I just passive like Marang back, or could even play a cheap Overlord. But I think I just pass with Marang up. Do I attack? The game is devolving to something I didn't expect. So these 2 damage here might chip away on my opponent. I don't know. It could also mean that I have 2 mana extra to pay for a Spell Pierce. I'm kind of fishing in the dark here. I don't really know what my opponent's up to. But I do want to respect stuff like Spell Pierce. I mean, my opponent's deck looks like a type of deck that would run Spell Pierce. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, sorry, the time alarm went off. I do have... I'm gonna do this before that resolves so they won't get the trigger on it. If they have a counter spell. Oh, Cavern, that's beautiful. I want to put back Forest or Overlord? Maybe just Overlord, to be honest. I have like enough fatties. Okay, I mean, I think I'm gonna torch this. See what they do. They incentivize to hold up counter magic and let this die. I feel like this is a pretty good moment to go for that. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna say dinosaur, I guess. Yeah. Boom. I mean, I could have Tidebinder, I guess. Tidebinder would be pretty good. No Tidebinder. Okay. Okay. Maybe they're playing this tone ain't big enough. Seems reasonable with... Whoa, almighty. Okay. That's a good one against my deck. Alright. Okay. Well, I guess that's what Fresh Start is for. I didn't know that was going to happen. Welp. I think I'm not going to deviate from my play here. My plan at this point is to... Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm probably pretty dead. I don't even know what I can draw to at this point. They just played the card that single-handedly beats the shit out of my deck. Yeah. I can draw a Heritage Reclamation to blow up this Aegis. I mean, I certainly have game. I have a stock up. They can counter the stock up, maybe. No. Oh, I can kill the Elishnorn. This is enough to do it. But they are also probably never going to tap out at this point. Yeah, I mean, I'm in a big trouble situation. I don't think if I let this happen, It's very easy to protect this from my 8 damage I have here at 7 toughness. I think my hand is forced, and I'm just gonna click the concede button if this doesn't work out. I mean, not quite yet. My best draw is a Heritage Reclamation, which I could draw. This was very weird. They transformed themselves into some weird control deck almost. Changed the equation. It's pretty sick. Yeah. Elish Norn. Smart. Alright. I'm not gonna beat a gigantic Elish Norn. Okay. Huh. I guess I'm taking out Fire Magic. That was weird. Fresh Start comes in, I suppose. I do have answers to Fresh Start, so Fresh Start's not super reliable. But I mean, what else do I have? I have like 3 steps ahead to counter it, I guess. Stock up. That was so weird. Maybe I just cut removal? Do I bring in Negate for the stock up? What's going on here? Confused. I hope I'm just gonna have a fast start and it won't really matter. I guess I could have cut some of my end game that's just completely blanked by this Elish Norn. More Surveil lands would be nice, you know? Helps you. Oh well. Oh, what the heck? Okay. How many lands am I running? Did I set out all my lands? I have 25 lands. That was 3 non-landers on in a row. That's just pretty funny. I have 4 cards that I have to put to the bottom. Okay. This would have been a pretty nice 4. Keep the stock up, draw on 1 untapped land, be in the game. Like, damn it. If I could have at least kept the stock up. Mulligan to 3. Is that a first on the channel? That was outrageous. That was outrageous. We had 3 lands, 3 hands in a row that didn't have a single land. Elish Norn, that's funny. I guess, yeah, I mean, Elish Norn is sort of the best answer to this deck almost. Like, it can't get better. It really doesn't get better than Elish Norn. And Elish Norn is very strong against any Overlord deck, I guess. But, you know, the Naya Yuna deck, for example, has removal, right? They don't care that much about Elish Norn, but the Timur deck does not really have good removal. Yeah, that's a pretty anticlimactic way to end this whole video. Just get destroyed by Elish Norn and then mulligan to 3. I mean, I could win this game if I draw a card advantage spell like a Marang Regent. I might be okay. Okay. Yeah, get my elf, I guess. Not great. I mean, I am 2 for 1ing my opponent with these overloads, essentially. My usage of Heritage Reclamation looks less than great now. Okay. They're not doing much. They might be sitting on an Elish Norn again. Stock up. Okay. My opponent's deck is really weird. I guess they cloud for Aegis and Planisphere. They're sort of like a blue-white mid-rangey artifact controlling deck. Like an Izzet, but without Is it without red instead white? Without Kari Steelcutter and instead cloud? Okay, Shelter by Ghost 2, I guess. I feel this was a matchup I could have definitely won. But yeah, mulligan to 3 is it's amazing that we're even playing a game right now. Again, I'm mulligan to 3 this game, yeah. Like, how am I still playing Magic right now? To be fair, my opponent has 6 cards and I have 1. The order that I'm drawing these cards in is not very nice. Oh well. I mean, I guess I may have to do this instead of this. It sucks. It's just a ritual effect here, essentially. But hey, I'm mulligan to 3. I can be thankful that I'm still in the game, I guess. So we're playing something here, although I don't know. The Aegis is a cool card. It's a lot of interesting deck ideas. I'm gonna die. Opt puts it up to 13. No, puts it up to 12 for now. But if they draw another card, it goes up to 14. Talent up to 13. Yeah, a bit of a sad way to end things. This deck certainly seems promising. I do have to leave now. I can't play another match, but yeah, I mean, I hope I could maybe inspire some of you to try this out and explore it further. I mean, Shahar certainly proved how good it was on the ladder. He's playing high mythic ranks. Pretty sweet idea. Smuggler Surprise, pretty powerful effect. And yeah, now, like, all these cards that otherwise couldn't quite break through the surface because, you know, power level and standard was so high are making a comeback, which is pretty awesome. All right. Well, with that all being said, thank you for watching this. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I see you in the next one. Take care.